Hola and welcome back to a new video. Today I want to give you 3 ways on how you can best learn Brazilian Portuguese. Number 1 is to get into basic grammar. Just to know how to structure sentences, you need to know what the basic grammar is, but you don't need advanced grammar. Starting with basic grammar is completely fine. For that, you can get 1 or 2 resources. I always recommend minimal resources. You don't need a bunch of apps. You don't need a bunch of books. I always recommend having maximum of 1 or 2 grammar resources, and that's it. You just need to know the basics, because once you know the basics, you structure the sentences. Like I said, you will definitely feel more comfortable speaking. But the most important thing is not to know the grammar in and out, but the most important thing is, like I said, just to have the basic sentence structure figured out so you can actually begin to form sentences when you start to communicate. And that brings me to number 2. When is it that you're actually going to start to communicate? From day 1. I always recommend starting to talk to people from day 1, and that's ideally with a language partner. If you can get someone to talk with you, to practice with you in your target language, that's the best way you can learn, and that's how you should learn. You should not wait until you get to a certain level and then start practicing. Practice from day 1. How can you do so? With a language partner, like I said. But how can you find a language partner? There are different ways of actually finding a language partner. You either have friends who speak your target language, or you need to actually go out and make friends and look for people who speak your target language that you can practice with. But for that, there's other ways, like for example, my community. I've created a global community, LinguaLink, that you can join. You can learn languages like French, Portuguese, Spanish. There are native speakers of all these languages in the community, because the community is global. So it's my community with followers all around the world. Brazilians who are native Portuguese speakers and who would love to practice English or learn English can exchange on the platform with native English speakers, and like that you can just go, for example, into a chat room and start talking to people, connecting with people all around the world. And this platform is mainly for that, to find and connect with people, because that's how you learn languages. That's how you practice them, connecting and communicating with people. So it's made super easy on LinguaLink. You just log in, you can learn languages from scratch, practice them, and globally connect with people from all around the world to practice those languages. It's an all-in-all one platform, and the community is not only for learning languages but actually also connecting to travel. So for example, if you want to travel to Brazil and you have questions about different things, about cities, about itineraries, so many people are from those places that can directly answer your questions in a Q&A space. So this is language and travel combined, and that's something I've wanted to create for the longest time, because I have viewers from different parts of the world, and I'm like, okay, why not just connect you guys so you can start learning and also practicing languages. So to join our LinguaLink tribe, make sure to click the link in the description box. And here we go to tip number 3. Tip number 3, after you have a language partner or you have someone you can talk to, is actually getting the immersion in. So how do you get the immersion? You actually have to breathe, eat, do everything in your target language, in Portuguese in this case. So it means you can go look for movies, series. Netflix is the best and easiest way to do so. You can create a playlist of your favorite movies and series in your target language, as well as on Spotify, for example. I have a playlist in different languages. So Spanish playlist, Brazilian Portuguese playlist, French playlist. So that's the best way to immerse yourself in the language. Try to do as much as you can in your target language. That means if you're doing things in your daily routine, you can switch them out by doing things that involve Brazilian Portuguese. If you're listening to music, you can switch it out and listen to a Brazilian Portuguese song. So by doing so, you actually create a habit of incorporating the language, and it not just being a thing that you do twice a week. You actually create a habit of incorporating the language in your daily routine, and that's the most important thing that creates the immersion, because you want to immerse in that language. For that, you don't necessarily have to travel, but you can create that environment by immersion. So these were the 3 best ways to start learning Brazilian Portuguese. If you have more tips, then definitely leave them in the comments below, and I see you in my next video.